homeless kits advertisement.
I see your Google Doc.
Okay, let's stop sharing and try again. Everything's extremely slow today when I click share.
Yes, now I see it.
All right. Well, let's get started. Welcome everybody. Jane and I are so excited to present to you nutrition on the go and on a budget. Before we dive into the workshop, we do have some announcements for all of you. So, our Healthy Lifestyles team is hosting a homeless kit project for December. But in order to do that, we need to collect items for our homeless kits throughout November. So our goal is to create 150 homeless hygiene kits for the Salt Lake Rescue Mission. Items in these kits include gloves, beanies, granola bars, facial tissues, and nail clippers, just to name a few. And so if you are interested in donating any of these items, we have an Amazon wish list
Uh,
that you can go to.
hey.
Let's see if I can get everybody muted real fast. All right, there we go. Okay, so I will put this in the chat box, but we do have an Amazon wish list for all of you if you would like to donate to this. So Amazon makes it really easy. You can just go on there and select any items you wish to donate. And then upon checkout, you just have the delivery site to our Healthy Lifestyles office. And then we will take all of the items to our event, which will take place on December 2nd. And you are all invited to help us create these homeless kits. We will be serving hot cocoa, we will have a prize drawing, and also be serving lunch at this. It'll be at the Government Center North Atrium on December 2nd from 11 to 1:30.
And
So,
Sadie, I just threw the registration for that in the chat as well. So to register, you can register in the chat just with our link. And your family, friends, whoever you want to bring them.
absolutely. It's going to be really fun. It's a great way to kick off the holiday season and give back to our community too. And then we can all be with each other as well and celebrate everything that's happened throughout the year. So it's going to be a really fun event. But we want to make sure we have items to put in these kits. So please, if you have anything that you can donate, I mean, if you're just even purchasing one packet of beanies or something like that, that could be extremely helpful. So spread the word, send this out to your office for people that may be interested, and we will get that done. And we're so excited. And if you have any questions about this, throw them in the chat box. We have some Healthy Lifestyle staff who are standing by to answer your questions. All right, the next thing I want to announce is November is Gentle Nutrition Month. So the focus is all about honoring your body and your hunger and your fullness. And the goal is to add color to your plate, add lots of nutrition to the foods that you are eating. So we are hosting a challenge called Color Your Palette that you can participate through your Well Steps account. So let me show you how you can access that. It started on Monday, but it's not too late to join. And I highly encourage you to join because we are having a prize drawing for some Harmon's cooking classes for those who participate. Okay, do you see Well Steps, Jane?
Yes, I do.
Yay! Okay, so this is how you log in to join the Color Your Palette challenge. So you click this login button in the top right-hand corner, and you use your EIN as your username and then whatever password you've created for yourself. And then you come up here to this challenge tab. So up at the top, you go to challenges. And then you click here on current challenges. So you can click on current challenges. If you have not accepted, you can do upcoming challenges and it will have an accept or deny the color your palette challenge that you can join. And how it works is you just input each day how many servings of fruits and vegetables you are getting. So this morning I had a smoothie, I had a banana in there, some blueberries, some frozen berries. So I put 3 servings of fruit in there. And the fun part is, let's see if it will do it for me. I think the page froze on me. Okay, like let's say I put 6. You can actually watch the fruits and veggies go into your bowl, which is the best part.
It really is so cute.
So much fun. And then over here you have the leaderboard. So it looks like Greta Hamilton is in first place.
You go, Greta.
And there's also some comments. I saw some people sharing links to recipes in there. So join us. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, thank you for highlighting that, Sadie. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure. Yes, thank you for highlighting that. We've got a lot of fun things with workshops coming up and a great well-cast episode if you haven't already given that a listen. So just great things to help us stay motivated to eat our fruits and vegetables this time of year. So this is going to be great. Sadie does such an awesome job on this presentation, and I'm excited to be a part of it as well. So we're going to have a good time. I'm going to throw the sign in link in the chat, so be sure to sign in for some points.
Fabulous. And you can see the presentation now.
Yes,
Correct?
I can. We're all good to go.
Okay, so let's talk about nutrition on the go and nutrition on a budget. I want to start by saying there is no perfect diet for nutrition on the go or on a budget, but we are going to share tips for both, and you can mix and match them based on your situation, right? And your situation may be different depending on what day of the week it is, or even if you have a certain meeting or training that day, or if it's your child's soccer practice or whatever it is. So use these tips to mix and match and make your own plan because there's not a one size plan that's going to fit all of us. All right, some tips as we get started is aim for better, not perfection. Start small. We often think the best route to nutrition or adding nutrition to our lives is being 100% perfect and transforming how we eat completely. But you will find the most success is starting small and adding more nutrition to your day with the meals that you are currently eating. And another example of starting small could be just making a goal for maybe 1 or 2 days a week. If you normally don't cook, maybe next week you make a goal that you'll cook at least 1 meal at home for the week. If you're somebody who's very good at that, then maybe it's having every meal at home for the week. It just depends on where you're at. It could also be as simple as prepping snacks that you can have for yourself during the workday if that's your goal and you want to add more nutrition to your day. That could be an area to start small. You can also sprinkle nutrition into, like I mentioned before, the meals you're already eating by focusing on what you can add rather than what you can subtract. Usually when it comes to nutrition, our mindset is, okay, I need to get rid of this from what I'm eating. I need to cut this out of my diet. We hear that all the time, but that can be so defeating. And so if you start to think about, well, what are some things I can add to this? It is a much more fun process. And so I actually have some examples for you, and I want to practice with all of you. So I looked up what are the most common breakfast, lunch, and dinners consumed by Americans every day. And I want us to practice by using the chat box how we can spice these meals up by adding more nutrition. So let's start with the first one. Scrambled eggs is actually one of the most common breakfasts by Americans every day. So, what would you put in this scrambled eggs to make it more nutritious, to add some color?
I'm excited to see the chat. We said, oh, they're coming in hot. So we've got onions, peppers, mushrooms, tomatoes, veggies, um, spinach, green peppers and ham, tomatoes, salsa,
I saw garlic. I've never done that.
garlic, yeah,
That sounds delicious.
zucchini, some sausage. Oh, don't forget the cheese,
Yeah,
of course.
cheese. Yes, all of these are fantastic. So if you are somebody who has eggs for breakfast each morning, when you go to the grocery store next, think, well, what can I add with my eggs? And if you like to, sometimes eggs is the greatest meal in the world because it's so fast. So we could pre-cut the things that we want to put with the eggs, right? But look at how much prettier this is. Right? That first, we just had the eggs. It was just that yellow by itself. But when we add color to this, oh, it looks so much more appetizing and makes breakfast seem like a much more enjoyable experience, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
Laura is giving some great tips. She says there are frozen chopped peppers, onions, and mushrooms that are less expensive in the grocery stores. So,
that's a great idea, especially if they come in that bag that you can throw into the microwave, right? So while you're cooking your eggs, those are cooking in the microwave. Throw them in your eggs. You could even just have a side of fruit. So have a banana next to that, an orange, some grapes. Add spinach in there, tomatoes. I like this one, throwing the eggs on some toast and some sunflower seeds with avocado, right? And this
so
doesn't
good.
have to be every single day. You're like, oh, I'm usually on the go. But if you have by Thursday, you're like, okay, I don't need to be into work super early. I can give myself some extra minutes. Then maybe
So,
doing that.
yeah,
Go ahead.
Sadie, you sparked a thought for me. I don't know if you guys have seen these, but I know it was like kind of all the craze, like overnight oats or um and we'll probably talk about those later on with Sadie, but they also like I've seen salad jars like for the go, but I've also recently seen like omelet in a jar jars. Have you seen these, Sadie?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're going to talk about that, but just a really cool way to like have it on the go, already chopped and ready, like those vegetables, and then you can throw them in the pan and you're set. Like you can prep those all for your week. So that's kind of fun.
It does make it more fun.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking of different ways you can do it. If you have eggs every day, but if you could have them different each day. Monday
Yeah.
could be eggs with fruit. Tuesday, it's egg omelet. Then Wednesday it's the avocado toast with an egg on top. So yeah, think just getting a little bit more creative.
Yeah. Um,
I-
in the chat, Dee said she chops up peppers and onions for a recipe and then whatever leftover she has, she'll just throw in the freezer. So that's a great way to not have your food go to waste.
Thank you, Danine. That's perfect. Let's do the same thing with some toast. Toast is tasty. I like toast with just some butter on top, but it kind of looks boring right here. Tell me how you would spice this up. How are you going to add nutrition to your toast? Avocado, berries, strawberry jam, peanut butter, tomatoes, almond butter, peanut butter and honey, nut butter. All right, we're getting the gist of this. Here are some examples. You can really put anything on toast. You could throw even some berries on there with some honey. You could do hummus and tomatoes, cheese and basil, says Nancy. Exactly. All right. I think you have the gist. I'm going to make you keep doing this, though. We need to get in this mindset of how we can add more color and nutrition to the things that we're already eating. So when it comes to Americans and lunch, sandwiches are the number one thing that we are consuming. So this sandwich has a little bit more on it than our toast and eggs, but still, how could we add more nutrition to it? Sprouts. Oh, I love sprouts. Tomatoes. Cucumbers, onions, hummus, veggies, fruit on the side. All right, you are getting it. Exactly. All of these are fantastic ideas. I have even, exactly adding fruit, some nuts on the side. You could substitute your sandwich bread for a lettuce wrap or some whole wheat bread. So you could do that as well, or use wraps, like Laura said. Exactly. So when you start looking at the things you're already eating, it makes it a little bit easier rather than thinking of, all right, I'm always on the go. How am I going to get more nutrition? Well, you're already eating somehow right now, right? Whether that's eating out or eating at home. So figuring out how you can substitute things or add more things to what you're already eating is a great way to start your nutrition on the go journey. And for those of you who, when we went through breakfast, you're probably thinking, well, I don't even eat breakfast. I usually skip it. And so maybe the best thing for you is to add a little something to your breakfast, right? Some fruit, some maybe a Greek yogurt with some chia seed on top. So maybe the best thing for you is to do that. If you're somebody who skips meals and then finds yourself extremely hungry by the end of the day, that could be a sign for you to add more snacks throughout your day to keep your metabolism running effectively. All right, I have more for you. Spaghetti, one of the most common dinners for Americans. How would you add nutrition to this? And you're already pros at doing this, so I want you to be even more creative.
Eggplant, pureed peppers to add to the sauce, adding meat, minced veggies in the sauce, garlic and basil, veggies, whole tomatoes and basil, making your own sauce, salad on the side, broccoli, mushrooms, shrimp.
Ooh, excellent. Yep, Brittany has veggie noodles. I have that here too. Or you could even use a spaghetti squash instead of the spaghetti noodles, or in addition to, you could have both together. I've also put some pesto here. Pesto is typically made up of spinach, olive oil, and basil. And so you can grind that up in the blender and throw that on top too. You could add some
I think
protein.
I think that's a great point that you just made, Sadie, where you were talking about veggie noodles and regular noodles, and you're like, you can have both. And I think that's a great way to kind of incorporate more vegetables. Like if you're someone that loves pasta, still enjoy pasta, but maybe add that zucchini noodle or, the spaghetti squash so that you have the nutrients, but you don't have to let go of your pasta because it's all about, that adding nutrients. So, yeah, keep that in mind if that's a shift that you are wanting to make for your own personal health reasons. Adding is a great way to do that.
Yes. Angie put that she made a spaghetti squash lasagna last night. I hope you have leftovers because I'm coming over. That sounds delicious.
It does sound so good.
I know this sounds crazy, right? We're health educators and we're telling you eat more fruits and veggies, eat more fiber. Americans are typically not getting our recommended amount of servings for these items. So add more to your plate when it comes to fruits, veggies, and fiber. And I hope these pictures have inspired you, right? There's so much more fun when there's more color. Okay. I want to talk about the hunger fullness scale when it comes to nutrition on the go. Because we are typically on the go, we tend to dismiss our internal hunger and fullness cues that we get. the belly grumbling, maybe even the headache that we'd feel, or even if we're on the go and we're eating during a meeting and we're not paying attention to what we eat, we don't recognize that our body's full until we have a moment to ourselves and we're thinking, I am so stuffed, I need a nap, right? The hunger fullness scale is a great tool to use to help you get in touch with those cues and keep yourself feeling comfortable all day, having your metabolism running effectively and not getting to the point that you are just so scarfed that you could just grab anything, or that you're so full that you just don't feel good or productive the rest of the day. So how you use the hunger fullness scale is we like to stay between a 4 and a 7. So a 4 means that you are hungry, you're starting to get little hints from your body that you could eat something. And a 7 is full but not uncomfortable. And this isn't meant to be used as a diet tool or to lose weight. It's a tool for you to get more in touch with your metabolism and listening to your body effectively. So that 1 is feeling completely empty, you can't concentrate, and a 10 is Thanksgiving full where you can't even get up from the table. So we like to stay between that 4 and 7. It's the neutral area that you're not necessarily hungry or full, but the body has enough energy to function. So if this is something you haven't used before, I highly recommend it. It is an enlightening experience when you use the hunger fullness scale, because we typically find that we get past that 4 or 7 when it comes to hunger or fullness to understand. And especially if we've learned to see hunger as our plate being empty rather than feeling it, or if we're used to just having a schedule that you go to lunch every day at a certain time, no matter if you're hungry or not. But if you use this scale throughout the day and even snack a little bit more, it's going to have you feeling a lot more comfortable and keeping that metabolism running in its best capacity. Do I have any questions about the hunger fullness scale?
Or comments. How is it enlightened your own eating experience?
Babies are very good at this. You will see if a baby is full, they usually push you away, right? Or they push the bottle away. If they're hungry, they let you know. Ooh, we have some people sharing some recipes. Ooh,
I
thank
love
you.
this.
I will copy and
Yeah.
paste that, Angie. We have some people saying, such a good tool. I have it on my fridge and try to follow it, but have often often forget. Yes, so if this could be a goal for you as well, and not necessarily using it for every meal, but if you haven't done it before, maybe just using it at breakfast if you have a little bit more time, or at dinner, just to check in with your body. But again, this isn't a tool to be used for weight loss. I don't want us to think that's what we're using it for. We're using it so that we can feel good. All right, let's go into more tips about nutrition on the go. So the next slide, it will talk about some methods for getting nutrition on the go. There are some tips that are budget friendly and others that are extremely convenient, but a little pricier. So we thought you could mix and match the items that work best for you. And perhaps it depends on, like I mentioned before, the day of the week. Maybe you're extremely busy Monday through Wednesday and you want to have something that's extremely convenient, while the other days you want to do more budget friendly meals. So just pick and choose what works best. Again, there's no one size fits all. But the first tip I have for you is leftovers. Let's cook once and eat twice. All right, so using leftovers as ingredients for other meals. So example, if you have that beautiful spaghetti that we made and there's a little bit left over, well, maybe you're using that spaghetti for a side dish for the next meal. We could also have, if you have burgers one night, using the leftover meat in tacos or on spaghetti. If you have leftover rice, throwing that in a soup. What are some other ways that you use leftovers? Lunch the next day, absolutely. My Healthy Lifestyles team thinks this is gross, but sometimes I just have my dinner that I had the night before for breakfast and I just throw an over easy egg on top and call it breakfast, no matter what it is. If it's
Sadie,
meatloaf or spaghetti, tacos, just throw an egg on top.
I love that, Sadie. It's my favorite thing about you. All right, so Angie says if I have leftover meat, I use it in a stir fry or a hash. Um, so yeah, cooking if there's less of you at home, um, you know, still cooking for like a larger party so that you have leftovers. Sometimes Laura says sometimes she grinds it up to make dog treats, and it doesn't even. Oh, Lynn says it doesn't even need an egg to be breakfast, Sadie, so you can still do that. And then it's good to make chili. So I love that.
I also think it's fun. It kind of becomes a creative outlet, because it's a challenge, right? Like, oh, how can I repurpose this to make it delicious as if it was intentional, right? So you can shelf cook with that. Take a look at your leftover. What do you have? And then what other things do you have in your fridge or in your pantry that would be fun to pair it with? So there's even a show based around this whole idea on Netflix, and it is so fun because it's a creative outlet to figure out, what can I do now?
I know, and I've had to change my mindset around that because sometimes cooking felt like a chore, but now I really like to throw on my Taylor Swift vinyl because yes, that is me. I am a basic millennial, and I want to listen to that while I'm cooking, and I have, I set the lighting just right, and I'm dancing around, and so it does make it that creative and stress management as well.
For sure. I love that. It becomes a connection with your food and you're able to enjoy it while you're preparing it, but even more so when you're eating it. So it's all about the experience, and I think sometimes we forget that eating is an experience.
Yes, it absolutely is. And use leftovers to your advantage, especially if you're on the go. If you are going to create a meal, think of how far you can make it last throughout the week. Like we said, either using the ingredients in something else, or if you love that meal and you don't mind eating it 2, 3 days in a row, do that for yourself. And you could even spice it up with different sides. If it is, if it is spaghetti, well, it's like, all right, I'll have it with the salad one day, or I can just bring some other snacks for work too with it. So just making it easier on yourself and thinking ahead. And of course, it's fall and it is time for crock pot and that instant pot recipe season. And there are thousands of instant pot and crock pot recipes that you can do in under 20 minutes or that you can prepare in the morning and it's ready by the time you get home after work. So get that crock pot out. Mine's, yeah, in the basement somewhere. I need to dust it off and make some of these meals. I have spaghetti squash pasta, stuffed bell peppers, lentil veggie soup, chickpea curry. These can all be made in the crock pot. And I know the next question's going to be, will you send these recipes to us? And I absolutely will. What other recipes do you like to make in your crock pot or instant pot? Lasagna
Lasagna.
soup?
Ooh, yummy. I actually love cooking my spaghetti squash in my crock pot. Like you place the whole thing in there and then it's so much easier to cut into, scrape out, get all the good stuff from. It's great. Yeah, people are coming in hot with the what they like. Rice, beans, chicken, roast with veggies, chicken and rice. Um, yeah, veggie lasagnas, undone egg rolls. I bet those are good. Soups are like my very best friend in the whole entire world. I just love, love, love them.
When you say, so Jane, you put the just entire spaghetti squash in the crock pot. You don't even have to cut it in half.
No, you place the
I've almost
whole.
cut my finger off so many times cutting a spaghetti squash in
I
half.
know. It's like terrifying. It really is. And they're hard. Some of them are
Mhm.
extremely hard. Like you can do it with like acorn squash or butternut squash, but I mean, the shell, the outer shell is still there, right? So you still have to like scoop all the good stuff out, but you can like roast the whole, or you could like bake the whole thing in your oven or put it in the crock pot. I do that with like baked potatoes as well. Like if I'm gonna, have a potato with my dinner, I just put them in the crock pot, let them cook for like 6 to 8 hours on low, and then you can throw them in soups, you can throw them in have them in the morning with your eggs, whatever you're gonna do. But yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yummy. I'm thinking we need to start a discussion on our Facebook chat. If you haven't heard, Healthy Lifestyles has a Facebook page, and all of your recipes you put in this chat, I want to see them on there. So I will also
Yes,
send that to you guys.
that's a great place to put them. We should have like a group where we post recipes there. That would be great.
It's happening. I will send that out. I'll get it started. Okay, so we've talked about adding to the things that you're already eating, using leftovers, get that crock pot out. Now, here's some other options. They may be a little bit pricier, but they're extremely convenient. So, using that grocery delivery and pickup, that wasn't just for the heat of the COVID times. They are still up and running. I know Harmon, Sprouts, Smith's, Walmart, they all do some form of delivery or pickup that can save you so much time. And one of the best features of using this is that you're not wandering throughout the store. You typically stay on your grocery list because you're doing it online and it saves what you've purchased in the past. So you can either just add to it or take away. So if you have your staples that you're getting every week, they're already saved right there. A lot of these places too, if it's your first time getting delivery or pickup, there's usually a very small fee, or they don't even charge for the very first ones, right, to get you a little bit hooked. But sometimes it can be completely worth the money, especially with gas prices right now, or if it's taking an hour out of your day to stop at the grocery store on the way home, it could be totally worth it. So look into these options as well, especially if you just need to do it for one day a week. Another thing is these meal kits that are sent to your house. I'm sorry, I'm very biased when it comes to these. I do use HelloFresh. I haven't used the other ones, but I think I'm going to since I'm running out of free meals on HelloFresh. I'm going to switch over to something else that will give me free meals. But what it essentially is you go on to the website and you sign up and you can cancel at any time. It's not a subscription that you're locked in for a certain amount of time. Cancel at any time and you pick the meals that you want. So you decide if you want 2 meals or 5 meals delivered to you that week and what you want them to be. And the best part too is there's usually not a lot of you can decide that you want it for 2 people, 4 people, and then you don't necessarily have all this leftovers that goes to waste too. If you're finding that you have a lot of food waste, this is a great option for you. And the best part is it has every little thing you could possibly need. I know when you're making a new recipe and it calls for some condiment that you don't have, and now you got to go spend $8 on the condiment that you probably think you're never going to use. But with these meal kits, they give you the right amount that you will need for that, and it adds more flavor to the meal. It also has helped me personally learn how to cook and how to use different herbs and spices and citrus in the things that I'm creating. So I am biased when it comes to these things if you want to try it. But of course, we know they're a little bit pricier. But again, add up exactly what you are spending at the grocery store and how much time you're spending to prepare those, and you might find that it's pretty comparable to some of these meal kits. So I highly recommend it if you need some convenience in your life.
Brienne said that she tried Freshly and they like it because there's no prep. And we've
Ooh.
got another fan of HelloFresh.
Fabulous. Yeah, and you can, like, some weeks I cancel, I'm like, all right, well, I know we have some birthday parties coming up or family events, so you just cancel for the next week. And it's really fun. They come up with new recipes, and again, you learn some new ways to create things that you haven't before.
And don't you get to keep the recipes so you can make it
Uh,
again if you enjoyed it? So that's kind of fun.
yeah, and you can even go on these websites and they have their recipes. So if you want to copy them and make it easy for yourself too.
That's a great idea.
Okay, let me go along so we can talk more about budget. But here's some other tips for nutrition on the go is creating a schedule. So make a menu. You can buy the ingredients on the weekend or days that you're available. And maybe you trade off with your family members or roommates on cooking certain meals. That would save you a lot of time if you know you're just in charge of Tuesday and Thursday rather than every single day. And then one of the other things that I like to do is actually make a list of healthy options that are to go. Because there are days where you're like, I do not want to cook. I don't want to go to the grocery store. I just want to stop at Cubby's or Zupa's or Village Baker, whatever it is. But sometimes when we're thinking about where to go and we're so hungry, we cannot concentrate, right? We're like, well, let's just close your eyes and point. Whatever restaurant I'm pointing at, go there. But if you have a list in your phone or in your planner of healthier options or more nutritious, dense options, I've listed some here that are in mine, like the Harmon's salad bar. Core Life has some grain bowls. I love the kale salad from Cubby's. Um, even Steven's berry salad is so scrumptious. So if I can go, all right, where are my to-go options in my phone? Perfect. These are near my house, and I know that they have a little bit more nutrition to them. So I encourage you to do that as well. So it makes it a little bit easier when you know that you want to go out, but you just don't know where to go to get something that is going to be nutritious. All right, Jane mentioned the overnight oats. So I'll send this recipe out to all of you, but overnight oats is a fabulous way to get creative and to have this could be breakfast or it could be dessert. It's so tasty. So what you're doing is in mason jars, you are creating whatever combination you like. So there's overnight oats with Nutella in there, peanut butter, berries. You could even throw in some chocolate or dark chocolate in there if you want it. And that's an easy thing to grab on your way out the door. And if you have a meeting at 8 a.m., you can have your overnight oats in that meeting. Emily says, I have this for breakfast almost every work day. Yummy! Share some of your recipes.
It really is so tasty.
And if you need an afternoon pick-me-up, oh, it says, do you eat it hot or cold? I have it cold.
I
Typically,
like it cold as well.
and energy balls are also a great nutritious way to get your afternoon pick-me-up. I had some people say, I use the hunger fullness scale, but I still crave something sweet. An energy ball is a great way to get that craving out, but also have some nutrients. We've got chia seeds, flax seeds in here, honey, peanut butter. You can even throw some coconut in an energy ball. And lastly, I just wanted to inspire you with these beautiful lunch boxes. If you want some more nutrition throughout your day and you pack a lunch, you can start by throwing in some fruit, veggies, and then I have listed ideas for protein from we have hard-boiled eggs, edamame, nuts, cheese, cottage cheese, jerky, hummus, and so you can mix and match if you want to prep your snacks for the work week.
I love these ideas, Sadie, because it reminds us that we don't have to overthink it. Just like grab things, you can get creative, and you can eat nutritiously dense foods. Um, and have fun with it, you know? Like it really should be fun. So,
Exactly. And so again, pick and choose what you need to do. If you're like, all right, I can do these lunch boxes Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going over to Cubby's and getting my kale salad. Thursday, Friday, I do HelloFresh or something like that, one of those. So pick and choose, look at your week, find out what's best for you. But now I'm going to turn the time over to Jane to talk more about nutrition on a budget.
thanks, Sadie. I always love listening to Sadie present. She does such a great job, and the information that she shares is always just top notch. So, we will definitely be sending out these slides to you guys so that you can enjoy them and sift through them at your own time as well. But I just want to give a few tips for supermarket savings that can help us as we try our hardest to eat more nutrient dense foods, but also have them not break the bank. And there's been times where I have, checked out at the grocery store and I've been like, how much money did I just spend here? Like, I can't believe I just spent this much money. Um, and I just want to break this myth. It does not have to cost more money to eat healthy. Even though fruits and veggies and lean meats are generally stamped at a higher price tag, there are plenty of creative ways to eat nutrient dense foods that are delicious and nutritious without breaking the bank. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So the first tip is to plan out a few meals. Sadie mentioned this. This kind of goes along with the cook once and eat twice. But think about, you know, what you're shopping for, the meals that you're shopping for. So if you're going to buy ground turkey for tacos, what else can you throw your ground turkey in? Maybe it's a breakfast burrito bowl, or, you're throwing them in with your scrambled eggs or into a soup. Maybe it's with some spaghetti, whatever it looks like, just planning out meals that you can combine um, the ingredients that you're purchasing for. And recently I've done this as a working mom. Um, I've decided to do freezer meals for myself. So I'll go and I'll buy all the meat and the different ingredients, and I'll make like 10 freezer meals at one time with all the ingredients that I purchased. And I love to do this because it has not only simplified my life, but I'm eating a good nutrient dense meal with fruit and vegetables and whatever else that I've thrown in there. But I didn't let that food go to waste that I had purchased. So planning out a few meals is great. And then considering, 1 to 2 meatless meals for the week. So plant-based proteins are highly nutritious and they're generally a little bit more affordable, like with beans or legumes or um, whatever it might be, quinoa, you can get a little bit more protein and fiber from these foods and they're meatless. So um, for instance, you could do like a sweet potato black bean taco, or soups right now are, I mean, the best time of the year. So adding more of those types of foods, quinoa, veggies, beans into your meals. And then purchasing snack foods that are nutrient dense, also that are satisfying and filling. So um, I just want you to think about foods that are quick to grab, like nuts. Usually they keep you full a little bit longer than, um, you know, a cracker. So just making those choices at the supermarket of, I'm going to choose something that's a little bit more nutrient dense, that's going to keep me full for a longer period of time. So those can tend to go longer. I know, at least for me. Um, it takes me a little bit longer to eat a bag of nuts than it does for me to eat a bag of crackers. And then going in with a list. This is a big, I am far less tempted to throw random items into my cart when I bring a list. Oftentimes I'll walk into the store and I'll be like, wait, what did I come here for again? And then I have to like pull from the archives of my brain to get what I actually came for. So going in with a list, and don't shop on an empty stomach. Have you guys ever fallen victim to buying way more than you wanted to because you didn't have something in your tummy? So never shop on an empty tummy. Consider purchasing non-perishable items in bulk. I know certain grocery stores like Smith's or Harmon's, they have like case lot sales. And so you can like overstock, you can get your food pantry stocked up for the winter with like beans or peanut butter or um, you know, canned goods. Sometimes they even do frozen goods as well. So I think that's a great thing to consider if you can, allot it into your grocery budget to do that. That it's definitely worth it. And another thing I think it's important to highlight when you're trying to save money at the supermarket is comparing the generic brands to the store brands. Or sorry, like the brand items, like the name brand items. Um, Generic brand is usually cheaper and it costs less money because of the marketing that went into the product. So take that into consideration. Like when I'm buying cream cheese or milk or whatever, like I never buy the the name brand item because I don't think it's worth the extra $1.50. But if it is to you, then keep buying it. But yeah, like when I look at the ingredients, they're nearly identical. So, and then the next one I want to talk about is scanning the produce section for same day use. So this is actually a trick of the trade for me that I recently have started to do is when I go grocery shopping, I'll scan the discounted produce part. And usually they have like chopped like butternut squash, or they'll have chopped vegetables for like fajitas or a stir fry, or they'll have broccoli and cauliflower, or just different fresh foods that are chopped and ready to go, Brussels sprouts. And I will purchase them and then I'll throw them into my dinner for that night or for the next 2 days or so. So the discounted produce section is great. Usually, they're on the brink of their shelf life. So it's important that when you buy them, you intend to eat them. But like I've bought Brussels sprouts at Smith's for, they're gonna Best Buy, the next day. And I bought them for 50 cents. So there's things like that where you can really get the most bang for your buck and at a very, inexpensive price. This is also a good one is to don't buy a lot of highly perishable items than you can use in 1 week. Sometimes our eyes are bigger than our stomachs, and we think we're going to be using way more than we actually are. So if you go in to buy produce, be intentional about the produce that you are going to eat, or you can have other folks come over and eat your perishable foods, or maybe you can, if bought extra lettuce or it's going to go bad, maybe bring a giant salad for everybody in your office to enjoy, or you can throw your apples into a you can puree them and make applesauce cookies or something like that, where you're using your produce in creative ways, or you're finding a different purpose for them and sharing them with others. So that's a great way to not let it go to waste. Something that I enjoyed. Oh, we're seeing some fun things in the chat.
Yeah, we were sharing snack ideas.
Oh,
We
I
had a
love
question
that.
about snack ideas, so add those if you wish. But then also, Lynn said I buy a lot of frozen vegetables that are out of season. So like what you were saying, buying things that um, would last a little bit longer.
Yes, I love that. And I think we'll go into this a little bit later, but also canning, like using that method of preserving your food is you can can things, which is great. And then stretching your fresh herbs, spices. These are great because you can careful storage of these items can actually extend their shelf life. So, for example, cilantro, you should put it in a cup of water and cover it with a plastic bag. That's a great way to elongate the shelf life of your cilantro. I think when you keep your cilantro in just the bag that you get from the produce section, it can go bad extremely quickly because it's not supposed to be stored in that way. So, I mean, there's a million ways that you can store things, but that is the best way to get the shelf life out of the herb cilantro. You also can elongate your green onions or your shallots if you like you can actually place them um, in the water, the green part, or sorry, the root part in water and a windowsill, and they'll start to grow again. So if you're wanting to see them grow and get more out of your green onions, you can do that, which is really cool. And then like considering, chopping herbs and putting them in an ice cube tray, filling it with olive oil, and then putting that in the freezer. And that will freeze. And then when you're going to saute your vegetables, you can just pull that directly out of the freezer, put it in a pan, and then you're good to go. So that's another great way to keep those herbs stretching out a little bit longer. And this goes without saying, but use what you have before buying more. Similarly to what Brittany was saying is you can shelf cook and it can be a creative process and it can be fun and it's all about what we make it. So commit to taking an inventory of all the food that you have before you go to the grocery store. And typically they advise you to do this twice a month. So typically, I don't know how often you go to the store, but I try and limit myself to go to the grocery store at least twice a month because that's when my family needs a reboost of our food. So I try and just take an inventory very quickly of what I need to buy and what I don't need to buy so that it keeps it great. If you have a Siri or an Alexa in your house, this is just a side note that I love is I ask my Alexa to put something on my shopping list. So if I run out of something immediately, let's say it's eggs, I'll say, Alexa, put eggs on my shopping list, and she'll do that for me. And then when I'm at the grocery store, I have a running list of everything that I need. So that's a great thing to keep in mind.
When you do tell her, where does it go?
So
Does it-
there's an app on your phone and it's just your Amazon Alexa app. And the Amazon Alexa app, it will literally say, I'm pulling it up right now. It says shopping list and it has everything I need on my shopping list. So it's a great thing to throw on there. And you can have different shopping lists for different things, but that is a that has been a time saver for me. Okay, so when it's just really quickly, I want to touch these last two things before we say goodbye, but sticking to seasonal and shopping local is also a great way to save money at the grocery store. So buying produce that is in season is typically less expensive than when you're buying produce that's not in season at the grocery store. I think we've all been shocked by the price of like strawberries in, you know, the off seasons. So just being more aware and an educated consumer about what's in season and what isn't. Freeze for longer shelf life. We talked about this. You guys are already doing that, and I love to hear it. But growing up, we would grow our own corn, and then we would husk it, and we would cook it, and then we would, you know, slice it all up, and then we'd freeze it, and we would enjoy our fresh corn all winter long because we froze it for a longer shelf life. And I love doing that. You can also can your peaches, or you can do grape juice, you can beets, you can do all sorts of fun things to enjoy later. And they also make great gifts, which is fun. Supporting your local farmers markets is a great way to stick to seasonal, but also to support local. This is honestly one of my most favorite things to do is support our local farmers here in Utah. We've got a lot, especially in the Salt Lake region. So in the next slide, I'm gonna share with you how you can find the local farmers markets in our area. And then, yeah, you just get more bang for your buck. So keeping that in mind typically with these, you know, with these things. And then this is just a seasonal produce guide. You can actually look it up. I think it's fruitandvegetables.org, but it will tell you um, what is in season and what isn't, especially in your region of the world. So in Utah, what's in season? And these things are in season. So right now we're in the winter. So fall, winter, we're in autumn. And so the things that are in season, you're going to have potatoes, sweet potatoes, apples, beets, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, all those yummy, yummy, yummy things that we can add to our plate to make it more colorful, but also more nutritiously dense. And then winter, we're thinking storage crops. So these are like carrots, leeks, onions, potatoes, oranges. Oh, don't we love a good citrus orange in winter? It's like my favorite treat to just peel that orange, and you can even throw the peels for like a cider with some cinnamon and clove. Oh, so
Ooh.
yummy. So there are so many wonderful things that we can do with seasonal produce, and it's just about putting that creative hat on and having fun with it. So the next part is about supporting our local farmers. And we are so lucky we have a winter market, and it's downtown Salt Lake. It's actually at the Gateway, which is kind of cool. And it's on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you can actually find Utah Farmers Markets. It's called the Utah Farmers Market Network.org. And this is so cool because it's going to tell you where to go based off of northern Utah, southern Utah, eastern Utah, or central, or, you know, the Salt Lake area. So that's really cool. This is the only market that I was aware of that's going on in the winter. Obviously, the spring and the summer and the fall, you've got a plethora to choose from, but there are quite a few farmers that still um, go and present their crops at this one, which is great. And Emily said it starts this Saturday. So
Woo
get
woo.
excited. It's going to be so fun. There are other places you can support your local farmers during the winter. You can follow them on social media. There are a few farmers that I follow on social media that have online stores, which is cool. So it's basically like your own produce box where they will, like you can see what inventory they have on their farm, and they will do a pickup. So you can go to their farm and pick up their produce and then take it home, which is really, really cool. And then Sprouts and Harmons and a few other local grocery stores, I think even Smith's and um, Whole Foods, they do local grocery store co-ops. So farmers put their produce into those grocery stores, which is really cool. And um, they threw it in the chat already, but yes, Utah's Own is so cool. So Utah's Own is an agricultural, um, it's the state's agricultural program that you can put your like ranchers and farmers. Um, they have like food artisans and other agricultural producers. They put all their information on utahsown.org, and so you can get those local the products, whether it's meat, whether it's milk, whether it's fruit or vegetables. I've even seen like wineries or canneries or things of that nature. So they have all sorts of local produce, local farmers, ranchers, they put it all on there. So it's really, really a great resource for us to get um, you know, to keep our money where we live and to eat those whole foods at a more affordable price. So it's kind of really cool. But anyway, that's all we have for you today. And yeah, we're just really grateful that you took the time to be here with us this afternoon. And we hope that you learned how to, you know, be nutritious on the go, but also not breaking the bank completely. And yeah, have fun this month. We're all about adding fruits and vegetables to our plates, and it should be, yeah, a great time. So thank you so much, Sadie, for joining me. And it was a lot of fun to chat with you guys this afternoon.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, we're over time, so feel free to jump off, but Jane and I will stay on for a couple more minutes if you have any questions.
Yes, I did just throw in the Survey Monkey again in the chat. So if you'd like points, please fill that out.